Hello everyone, and welcome to the Scary Story channel. What's the scariest sound you've ever heard? A sudden bang in the middle of the night? The creak of a floorboard when you know you're home alone? For me, it was laughter. Not the joyful kind, but something cold and hollow that still echoes in my darkest memories. It all started when I bought my first house. It was an old Victorian place, a real fixer-upper, but it was all I could afford. The real estate agent mentioned it had character, which I later learned was code for a long and troubled history. The first few weeks were fine. I spent my days tearing out old carpets and my nights falling asleep to the sound of my own hammering. But then the laughter began. It was faint at first, almost like a whisper carried on the wind. I'd be working in the garden and I'd hear it, a soft, breathy chuckle. I brushed it off as the neighbors' kids or maybe the wind whistling through the old oak trees. But it kept happening. Late at night as I lay in bed, the laughter would drift up from downstairs. It was never loud, just a quiet, persistent giggle that seemed to mock the silence of the house. One evening, I was in the basement trying to figure out the ancient fuse box. The single light bulb flickered, casting long, dancing shadows across the damp stone walls. That's when I heard it, clearer than ever before. A giggle right behind me. I spun around, my heart pounding in my chest, but there was nothing there, just dust motes dancing in the weak light. "Who's there?" I called out, my voice trembling. The only reply was another chuckle, this time from the far corner of the room. It sounded like a child, but there was no childlike innocence in it. It was cold, sharp, and full of malice. I ran out of that basement faster than I've ever run in my life, slamming the door shut behind me. I spent the rest of the night huddled on my couch, listening, but the house remained silent. I tried to rationalize it. Stress, lack of sleep, an old house making old house noises. I desperately wanted to believe that. The next day I decided to do some research. I went to the local library and started digging through old town records and newspaper archives. That's when I found it. An article from the 1920s about the very house I now owned. The headline sent a shiver down my spine. Family Tragedy on Elm Street. The story detailed the sad tale of the Peterson family. They had a young daughter, Lily, who, according to the article, fell ill with a fever that caused severe delusions. One night, her parents were awakened by her laughter echoing through the halls. They found her in the living room, giggling uncontrollably. A few days later, she passed away in her sleep. The article was sad, but it didn't explain the malice I felt in the laughter. I kept digging. I found another more obscure report, a police journal entry. It mentioned that after Lily's death, strange things began to happen in the house. The family reported hearing her laughter, but it grew more and more sinister. Objects would move on their own. Whispers would echo from empty rooms. The family eventually moved out, claiming the house was haunted not by the spirit of their daughter, but by something that had taken her form. Armed with this terrifying knowledge, I returned home. The sun was setting, and the house looked more imposing than ever. As I walked through the front door, the air felt heavy and cold. "Lily?" I whispered into the silence. The response was immediate. A giggle erupted from the top of the stairs. This time it wasn't faint. It was loud, clear, and filled with a chilling glee. I forced myself to walk up the stairs, my every step creaking on the old wood. The laughter grew louder, drawing me towards the master bedroom, Lily's old room. The door was slightly ajar. I pushed it open. The room was empty, bathed in the dim twilight filtering through the window. In the center of the room sat a single, small, wooden rocking horse. As I watched, it began to rock back and forth, slowly at first, then faster and faster, and with its movement came the laughter, high-pitched and maniacal, filling the entire room, the entire house. It wasn't the sound of a little girl. It was the sound of pure, unadulterated evil. I saw a faint shape begin to form in the rocking chair. A small, translucent figure of a girl, her face twisted into a horrifying grin. Her eyes were just dark, empty sockets, but I could feel them staring right through me. The laughter wasn't coming from her mouth. It was coming from all around me, inside my head, vibrating through my bones. It was a sound of absolute madness. I didn't scream. I couldn't. My throat was tight with terror. I just backed away slowly, never taking my eyes off the rocking figure. I stumbled down the stairs, out the front door, and ran. I didn't stop running until the sound of the laughter was finally drowned out by the pounding of my own heart and the siren of a police car I had flagged down. I never went back to that house. I left everything behind. The police checked the property and found nothing, of course. They thought I was crazy, a story born from stress and an overactive imagination. But I know what I heard. I know what I saw. Sometimes even now, on quiet nights when I'm all alone, I think I can hear it. A faint, distant giggle on the edge of my hearing. It's a constant reminder of the house on Elm Street and the sinister laughter that still haunts its walls. A reminder that some things once heard can never be forgotten. Thanks for listening to my story on the Scary Story channel. If you have a chilling tale of your own, share it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more terrifying tales. Stay safe, and whatever you do, listen closely to the silence. You never know what might be laughing in it.